Calling all authors, the Your Book, Your Voice podcast, hosted by Robert A. Lane, is on the air, featuring everything you need to know about narrating your own audiobook. But it doesn't stop there. From special guests, including authors and professionals from the book industry, to sharing tools and techniques needed to be a confident and compelling narrator. The journey starts now. So please welcome your host, Robert A. Lane.
And glad you're joining me today on the Your Book, Your Voice podcast. I am Robert A. Lane, an audiobook coach and producer is what I do for a living, helping authors like yourself turn your book into an audiobook. And the key factor, and the most important factor, of course, is that you are narrating your own audiobook because it's your story. Whether it's a nonfiction book, maybe it's a memoir, or maybe it's a children's story, or maybe you're a coach or an entrepreneur and you've written a self-help book or whatever your coaching book is, you need to narrate it yourself. Even for fiction authors, okay? Fiction authors, you can narrate your own audiobook as well. I've mentioned this before on the podcast about helping other fiction authors who are telling a story, and that's really what it is. You're telling a story. With the handful of characters of the books that I've worked on, the author does a great job because they're telling the story. I'm never confused as to who's talking, what character is talking, who's talking to who. And there's no confusion because you're doing a great job of narrating. And so fiction authors are great when it comes to narrating your own audiobook. Today's episode, we're going to focus on audiobook narration mistakes and how to fix them, a quick fix. There are some common mistakes, especially for first-time narrators, and we're going to fix these. We're going to fix these. So let's dive right in. Now, of course, confidence is a huge issue, and that is one. Matter of fact, I even hear this as a reason of why some authors are like, I don't want to narrate my own audiobook because I don't have what it takes. I don't like my voice. And there's like excuse after excuse after excuse. No more excuses, all right? No more. You do have what it takes to narrate your own audiobook, okay? That's a common mistake. Actually, a common mistake is not believing in yourself, not having confidence in yourself, not loving your voice. You got to love your voice because that's part of your author brand. That's a crucial aspect of who you are as a person. Your voice is so important. So don't deny this great sound that comes out of your body, okay? That's part of who you are. That's part of your author brand. So you know what the quick fix is? Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself because you have what it takes to do a great audiobook narration. You have it, okay? You definitely do. Now, again, those of you who are just starting out, maybe you've considered narrating your own audiobook, and that's great because I believe that you need to do that. But, mistakes are normal. Whether you're just starting out or maybe you have done this before, maybe you have done some speaking engagements and you've got that under your belt, and that's great. But, the difference between a great audiobook and one that's just mediocre is, again, you can't sound professional. You just got to be aware of certain things. And again, the fixes are easy. So let's talk about the actual narration, okay? Reading versus telling your story. Are you just reading it or are you expressing it and telling it? A lot of audiobooks sound reedy. They sound monotone. And then you know what it is? It's because you're focusing on trying to be so perfect, so technically perfect with no mistakes that you're not focused on what's really important. Not that that isn't important. Of course, that's part of it. But what's more important is the emotion and the feeling that you're bringing to the table when you narrate your audiobook. Okay? So don't just get wrapped up in trying to be perfect. Okay? Perfection is not going to be a great audiobook. Putting the emotion, the feeling, and the sincerity and the authenticity of who you are, that is what makes a great audiobook. And again, speaking of authenticity, another mistake that I see authors doing, especially authors who are just getting into narrating their own audiobook, is they think they need to sound like another person, another narrator. So I need to sound like Morgan Freeman. I need to sound like Meryl Streep or Judi Dench. I need to sound, like James Earl Jones. I need to sound like a radio DJ. No, you don't. You need to sound like you. And that does go back to the first point of loving and appreciating your voice. Because again, that is a defining aspect of your author brand. That's part of who you are. That's part of your identity. So loving and appreciating your voice and not trying to sound like somebody else. You want to sound like yourself. You want to be yourself, because that's, again, what allows you to stand out in the crowd when you are being your true, authentic self. Okay. And again, you don't need to force anything. You don't need to force emotion. You don't need to force the enunciation of words or overacting. Sometimes that comes into play where people feel they get very sing-songy in their narration. Or I got a this and then da 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 da. Then I was angry and then I was happy. It's like it's all over the place and it's not real. That's why being your true authentic self allows you just to be you, just to express yourself the way you are. That's what's so important. And that's an easy fix. Okay. That is such an easy fix. It's just, again, appreciate, love your voice, be who you are, be your true authentic self. Again, you are being conscious of pacing. Like if you talk super, super fast and your sentence are like you're doing run-on sentences, you're just blah, 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 and you're reading another sentence and then you're into the next sentence and you're not even taking a break between paragraphs. Again, easy fix, slow down. Same thing if you're doing the opposite. If you're talking, if you feel your pacing is too slow, or maybe you are a slow talker. Now, again, you can change up the pace when you're expressing certain emotions or feelings or things that enhance what you're trying to say. Sometimes when you slow down, it becomes more authoritative, or when you speed up, it can give the feeling of excitement. And that's okay. So you have that, but just be conscious of that. You don't want to rush. You want to keep your pacing consistent. You want to keep your listener engaged from opening credits to closing credits, and you want consistency. Consistency is a huge, huge factor that is so very important. You got to be you have to have that consistency from opening credits to closing credits. You have to be. And which brings up another aspect, because the way to fix inconsistency, if you do one chapter, then you record another chapter, and then when you play them, back to back, the energy level is different. The emotion is different. Maybe you were having an off day and you can hear it. This is how you fix this. Okay. If you record a chapter and then you go in the next day and you're going to record the next chapter, go back, listen to what you've recorded. Always go back and be tapped into that energy and that feeling and getting back into that zone that you were in when you recorded that chapter before you go and record the next chapter. That's how you remain consistent. Because remember, people are listening to your audiobook. If you have a book that's like 8 hours, 10 hours long, and somebody's listening to it, they're going to sit down and listen to it. Maybe they're driving, maybe they're doing housework, maybe they're going for a run, maybe they just have some chill time and they want to take a couple hours to listen to your audiobook. Right? They're going to hear chapter after chapter after chapter. So consistency is so important, because you want the listener to have the illusion that you actually sat here and recorded your entire audiobook in one sitting. Well, obviously that's not how you do it for real, but the end result will feel that way. And that's what you want your listeners to experience. Right? You want them to experience that feeling of, wow, this was a great book. Like, again, the person who's listening to your audiobook, it's like you're sitting at your favorite coffee house and you're talking to your best friend, and this best friend is telling this incredible story. The listener is that person who's receiving this great story, and they're again on the edge of their seats listening and going, wow, tell me more. Oh, I can't wait for the next chapter. Consistency will allow that to happen no matter how long your audiobook is, okay? So let's talk about some of the technical mistakes that are easily fixable, all right? When you set up your recording space, again, when I teach the authors that go through the Your Book, Your Voice audiobook coaching program. These are all things that we talk about. And by the way, if you do want to find out more information about what I do as an audiobook coach and producer, by all means, check out the links in the description and click on them. Book a call with me. I'd love to talk about your book. I have 2 programs, the VIP program, which you and I work together one-on-one through the entire audiobook creation process. And there's also the do-it-yourself version. I got the DIY program where you can do everything yourself, but everything is there for you on how to do it. So check out those links. All right. Okay. So one of the things that I talk about is mic positioning. Now, mic positioning really is important because if you're too close to the mic, you're going to over modulate and it's going to cause distortion or popping. If you're too far away from the mic, it's just not going to sound good because then you're going to get more of the ambient sounds and echoes of what's going on around you. And plus your voice isn't going to be loud enough. It's not going to sound great. So finding that sweet spot is super important. You want to find that sweet spot. All right. So, now those of you who are seeing both the video and audio portion of the podcast today, because we do this, we do the show live every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern time. We do this podcast live on YouTube and also on LinkedIn. So you do have this, you do see the video portion of it. However, the reason why I say that is because you see this, you do see the microphone that I'm talking in. Now, the way the microphone is positioned is that I put it to the side. All right. I angle it to the side, and I do this on purpose because I'm talking across the microphone. And when I'm talking across the microphone, as opposed to directly into the microphone, I'm avoiding a lot of the plosives. And plosives are those consonants that force air into the microphone that just rattle the diaphragm that's in there. The diaphragm is a very sensitive piece of the microphone. So you don't want to rattle it by forcing, P's, please give me a piece of cake. If you're forcing, well, not that you would say it that way, but again, if you are forcing air into the microphone and you're talking directly into it, those plosives are going to pop the mic. They're going to distort the mic, and you don't want that. That's not going to sound good. Okay. So again, mic placement is important. So you find that sweet spot. You're not too close, you're not too far away. Maybe you angle it to the side so you're talking across the mic. Again, you have professional headphones that you're wearing anyway, as you should, so you can really hear what it sounds like and making sure that everything sounds good and that your levels look great. And then you lock into that position. You leave your mic the way it is. You are positioned exactly where you need to be. There, now you got your sweet spot. Now you're in your zone. So now you're going to sound great. Okay. So mic placement is super, super important. Something to think about. But again, easy fix, right? If you're popping the mic or it's distorted, make an adjustment. Find that sweet spot. Okay. Find that sweet spot. And of course, when I teach the authors that go through my audiobook coaching program about setting up their own recording space, we talk about your recording environment, right? You want to be in a nice, quiet, no distraction space for setting up your recording space for your audiobook. Okay. Quiet space, no distractions. And that means no cell phone, no pets, telling people if you are, maybe it's a home office or you're recording it in your house. Just if there's other people there, say, hey, you know what? For the next couple of hours I'm recording, please don't disturb me. Can you keep it quiet? No doors slamming or whatever, right? Because those are parts of the environment that you can control. All right. Also, be wary of the fan in your computer. Is your microphone too close to your computer? Is it picking up that noise? Maybe your air conditioner or your heater or your refrigerator, things that are in the house, anything that can get into the microphone. If you can hear it, the mic's going to pick it up. Okay. And those are sounds that you don't want it. So those ambient sounds, again, just being aware of that. Okay. Simple fix. Those are just simple fixes. All right. Let's see what else did I want to tell you about that. Oh yeah. Now there are some things that you may not be able to control, right? If the gardener fires up the leaf blower outside. Well, okay, guess what? Pause, take a break, wait for those sounds to go away. If there's traffic, if you hear, a big truck rumbling by, if you hear that rumble or you even feel that rumbling, the microphone is going to pick that up. Okay. So just be aware of these things. And it's just awareness. Simple fix. All right. Simple fix. Don't just try to plow through it, because you know what? It's going to get recorded, and that's not what you want. And if it's bad enough to be a distraction, your audiobook will be rejected by Audible, Amazon, Apple, Barnes & Noble, wherever you're publishing your audiobook. So keep that in mind. All right. Now, another thing that maybe authors don't think about as they are doing their narration, especially if you're just starting out, is preparing yourself physically and preparing yourself mentally. Okay? So let's talk about the physical aspects first. First of all, stay hydrated. All right? Hydrate yourself. And I don't mean like right before you hit that record button, you're like, I'm going to drink some water real quick. Give your body a chance to get hydrated. All right? Drink some water, have some tea, do whatever you need to do to keep your body hydrated, a couple hours at least before you even start your recording. Take care of your body. Take care of your health. Take care of your voice. Your voice is very important. Remember, that's a key factor of part of your author brand, this wonderful sound that comes out of your body. All right? So with that, be aware of your energy, because it does take some stamina to narrate your audiobook. If you go through a chapter and it sounds great and you feel great and your energy is good, awesome. And you decide, I'm going to keep on going. I'm going to do the next chapter. Perfect. Do it, as long as there's consistency. But if your energy starts to wane, if your voice starts to get scratchy and not sound that great, if you start making a lot of mistakes during your narration, that's because you're getting tired. Your voice is getting tired, and you're mentally getting tired because you're making more mistakes. Take a break. Simple fix. Take a break. Step away, right? Step away from your recording space. Go outside, take a walk, relax, clear your mind, whatever it takes. Get yourself regrounded and refocused into recording your audiobook. Just get regrounded and refocused. Maybe you need to take the rest of the day off and you just get back into it the next day. That's fine. This is the beauty of setting up your own recording space. And this is why I have my authors especially who go through the VIP program that I teach. I give you, as part of the program, professional recording equipment, not crappy mics and headphones. I mean, good stuff. We're talking, $400 worth of gear that you get for free, that you get to keep forever as part of the program, because I want to make sure that you have the best of the best, that you have great equipment to sound fantastic. I don't believe in cutting corners, and neither should you. Remember, your product is your audiobook, along with your ebook, paperback, and hardcover. You don't want to put subpar product out there, because that product represents you, the author, the brand, the entrepreneur. You want to have the best stuff out there, okay? So that's why I provide equipment for my clients. And if you need equipment, you can go to my website and find out more about how to order up some great equipment. But aside from that, again, just be aware of your energy, okay? If it starts to wane, take a break. The other thing is, and I know a lot of people don't even think about this, but it's helpful. If you do have a version of your book that you can at least mark up. Now, when you record your audiobook, you got to use the digital version of it, whether it's an ebook or maybe it's a Word document or a PDF or whatever the book is in. All right. Do the digital version, because when you're narrating your audiobook and you have a paperback or you have the hardcover version, what happens is that while you're narrating, hear that? That's pages, page turning, page noises, book noise. You do not want that in your audiobook narration. That's why it's important to utilize the digital version, so you can just either swipe the screen When I recorded my audiobook, I put it on my iPad and I just was able to swipe through, which you didn't hear any sounds. Super smooth, super clean. All right. And if you have a program in your computer or your iPad or whatever you're using that you're using for your book that you are reading as you narrate, and you can maybe do highlighting or marking on it, that can help, because maybe you can mark a tone shift. Maybe you can mark an emotional beat or pause. Anything that can help you with your delivery so that it doesn't just sound reedy and monotone. Marking up scripts is common. When I was doing radio, I would always mark up my script. If I was doing a radio commercial or whatever it was, 60-second spot or a 30-second spot or a 15-second spot, I would mark it up for pauses and for emphasis and anything that I needed to do. The other thing is, and this goes back to the confidence aspect, and I just want to touch on this, and that, you will sound great. You will sound great, and it'll click in. It really will. When I started off, I worked 30 plus years in the entertainment industry before I decided to do coaching. And when I was doing radio, because that's what I loved radio. So I was always an audio guy, by the way. So I remember reading, and like the commercials just didn't sound good. They sounded all reedy, and they just, I was like, but you know what? It was really funny that like one day I wasn't sounding so great. Right? I would practice and it just didn't sound right. Then the following day, it just clicked. Boom, done. I don't know what it was, but it just clicked. And that's what's going to happen with you when you do this. And when you narrate your audiobook, this is one common mistake that people do, is they just grab their book and they go for it without looking at it and practicing the chapter or the section of the book that you're going to be narrating. You got to practice it. Get warmed up. Singers warm up, bands warm up, speakers warm up. You got to get yourself ready to go. Athletes warm themselves up before they get into the game. It's the same thing with your audiobook. Warm yourself up. Get familiar with what you're going to be talking about. I mean, if you're like, I know my book. No, read the chapter that you're going to record so that you're on top of your game. All right? That's really, really important. And finally, the one thing that I just really want to hit home is authenticity. Authenticity is so important. Again, you don't want to sound like somebody else. Like I mentioned earlier, you want to sound like you. You got to be your true authentic self, because that is what makes you you, and that is what allows you to stand out in the crowd. Okay? So just to do a quick recap of common mistakes and quick fixes. Don't read your book. Tell your story. Communicate your story. Don't be so focused on perfection, right? Keeping it human is what makes it so great. This is why AI sucks when it comes to audiobook narration. There's no life in it. It's soulless. I don't care if you go to, whatever company to clone your voice. There's companies out there that do that. And guess what? The human aspect, that element of what makes you you, that uniqueness, is gone. It may sound like you, but it's still mechanical. It's not you, all right? Be your true, authentic self. And again, from a technical aspect, of course, mic placement, quiet space, be aware of your surroundings. It's simple, right? These are simple fixes and things that you can do. Very simple fixes. And then, of course, don't chase perfection. Just be you. All right. My job as an audiobook coach and producer is, once the authors, they send me their audio files, I do the editing for them and I clean it up. If there's mistakes, I remove the mistakes. If there's, and I listen for mispronunciations. I listen for slurred words or something that maybe is not very clear. And then I have the author redo those lines and I edit them back in. I do all the editing for them, clean it up, and make sure their audio meets the exact specifications for publication, and get them published and upload it for them. Because my job is to handle all the heavy lifting, because I want you to focus on doing a great audiobook narration. That's what it's all about, okay? That's what it's all about. So don't worry about being perfect. What I teach my clients who go through my audiobook coaching program is just don't stop, don't rewind, don't go back. Just If you make a mistake, you pause, you redo that sentence again, and you continue on. Because mentally, and this is key, mentally, you are in your zone and you don't want to take yourself out of that zone. You got yourself prepped, you're ready to go. Man, I'm going to do a great narration. And if you make a mistake, so what? That's the editor's job. And that's why you find a great editor. All right. If someone says, oh, I'll clean up your audiobook, it'll take a couple hours, and they run it through some program and they may remove some like ambient sound, but they're missing out on these other subtleties. What if there's a space that's too big, or maybe a sentence that's too running into another sentence? They're not going to catch that. And again, mispronunciations or slurred words, they're not going to catch that. So whatever you do, whoever you work with, make sure that they're going to do a great job. All right. So again, reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you. Go to robertlanecoaching.com. There's a lot of links in the description as well. There's a link to the VIP program. There's a link to book a call if you want to talk with me, and you will talk with me directly. It's my personal calendar. Let's have a call. Let's talk about your book. Let's get you enrolled. All right. The VIP program is only 12 weeks. In that 12 weeks, I walk with you hand in hand, one-on-one through the entire audiobook coaching process. If you're a do-it-yourselfer, I have the program has everything that you need. That includes the editing and the uploading and all the technical aspects that obviously as a do-it-yourselfer, you'll be doing that yourself, but I'm very methodical and I show you exactly what you need to do. The VIPs, of course, I do all that for you, as well as give you the professional equipment you need to set up your own recording space. So you got it made, right? But do it, all right? That is one of the best business decisions that you can make as an author brand, as an entrepreneur, is turning your book into an audiobook. Because the audiobook world continues to grow and expand. Many people go to audiobooks first before they go anywhere else with other formats of your book. You got to get into that world, all right? You got to get into it. All right, my friends, I am going to wrap things up here for the Your Book, Your Voice podcast. I appreciate you. Check out those links. Book your call. Enroll. Do it. In 12 weeks, you could have your audiobook published on Audible, Amazon, Apple, and any other distribution platform that you want to be on that works great for you. All right? Don't put it off. Do it. Now's the time to do it. Make that investment in yourself. For the holidays, if you want to treat yourself to a great gift, enroll in the Your Book, Your Voice audiobook coaching program. It's the best gift that you can give to yourself, and you're preserving your legacy in your own voice for generations to come. And that's a beautiful thing. I'm Robert A. Lane. Thank you so much. You can go to robertlanecoaching.com to find out more about the Your Book, Your Voice audiobook coaching program. I appreciate you. We will be talking to you next week on the next edition of the Your Book, Your Voice podcast. Oh, by the way, I do have one more assignment, and that is when you're out and about in the world, smile at a stranger, say hello to them, give them a compliment, because that small gesture of kindness can make all the difference in the world. So be good humans. All right, my friends, take care.
This has been Your Book, Your Voice with host Robert A. Lane. Tune in each week for another powerful and informative episode. And remember, only you can narrate your story the way it's meant to be heard.